everyone. Welcome to my channel, Kimbaskrafts. My name is Kim, and if this is your first time stopping in, I hope you enjoy the video and the chat. If you're returning, as always, appreciate you guys. Thank you for your continued support. We are here with a whip and chat. I haven't done one in quite a while. I've been busy doing a lot of kitten chats, which I do talk a decent amount in them, I think. But we are here today. I'm just going to go over what I'm working on. I am actually on the last row of this heart flower jars, and you can see, isn't it so pretty? Oh my goodness. So I have you zoomed out a little bit and not really quite centered because I just wanted to show you my little setup here. So I have my, actually have my Elizabeth Ward tray just straight in front of me on a laptop. Let me see if I can show it to you. See it on a laptop tray. So I'll leave it like this for a second. It's on a not a laptop tray, on a light pad tray, a light pad tray, and it holds it at a slant. And so I just reach over and pop out what I need. And then I have my timer here, and over here I have this little caddy. These are my Valentine stickers. I am going to put these on at some point. But I have spares, and then just things that I use. I use these to open whatever if I need to reach for something. I'm actually going to need one of these. But it's also a great way to clear off my desk if I need to pull this out and take a photo of it or something of that nature. So I have all that. And then I have, and this is how I've been lining up my special drills. These are all the colors. So I'm using 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 extra sparklers in this canvas. And this is in a post review. So we will go over all of that and where I chose to put them. Where I chose to put them. Yeah, that is a proper sentence, I think. And I have this here because it was initially telling me like what I exchanged what for, but I actually don't even need to. I know exactly which ones on here that I was exchanging them for. So when I see the symbol, I immediately just go and grab. But what I did do, just in case I forget, is I did highlight, see the orange highlighter? I did highlight the DMC number in case I forgot. I'm sorry about the squeaky chair, by the way. In case I forgot what exactly I'm using. Okay, so that's what I have going on. So 9 special drills. I got a bunch of trays everywhere, depending on what size I need. Mostly I've been using my DpGalCreations tray in white. And I've been pulling this big guy out. Thank you, Gloria. The Muni made tray that was gifted to me for the very heavy color blocky areas. And then I have also gifted to me is this trash tray, my timer, and then for the small trays, I've been using this Bella Essential tray. It comes in their Bella kits, so I really love this little tray. And then I've been using for my pen flower heart jars. I always say it wrong, heart flower jars. So this has a bunch of flowers in it. This is from CraftedMakes, and really love this pen. It's so pretty. I have a 10 placer and then a single metal placer. These tips I got off of Amazon. I have Gorilla Putty in my in my multi-placer, and little straggler there. And I have glue dots in my single placer. So that's what I have going on. I'm going to go ahead and focus you in on the square we're going to work on together today. And then, yeah, we'll just get to chatting. Hold on a second. Okay, so I did turn on the light in the room and my light pad. I have to diamond paint with my light pad on. I don't know how people can do it without it. But yeah, let me just pick a color here. Let me see here. We're going to go with this one. So I hope everybody is having a good week. I released a kitten chat earlier this week. We are on Wednesday, and yeah, I'm doing my last row here. Honestly, I feel like I could finish this today. I had to get up early today and go to the DMV for my daughter because her car is in my name for insurance purposes, and I had to co-sign, and I'm like the primary on the co-sign. Yeah, I had to register the car. She couldn't register the car. So went to the DMV today, did the registration for her car, and it's right across the street from my gym. So I just went right to the gym and got that out of the way. And so now I love waking up in the morning and making coffee and coming out here and diamond painting. That's like one of my favorite times to diamond paint, right? So Bob was like, listen, you're already out there. Just go get it done, Kim. Just go to the DMV and then head over to the gym. Get it done. You're going to appreciate the fact that you have the rest of the day to do whatever you want and you don't have to go back out. And I was like, I know I should. But I like, but let me tell you, he was so right. He's like, and then you're going to make it your routine. And honestly, I'm really going to try to, because knowing that I don't have to leave the house again, because yesterday I didn't go to because it hangs over your head all day. Like you feel like, oh, when am I going to go? When am I going to go? I got to go. And it literally hung over my head all day yesterday. And then it was like 5 o'clock and I'm like, well, I don't want to go now. It's going to be too busy because everyone that works 9 to 5, they're going to be there now. I'm going to wait till 6:30. And so I was at the gym until I think 9 o'clock at night yesterday. Yeah, it's definitely, he's right. It's definitely better to just get it done and then come back and, then have the rest of my day to me. So I am going to try to do this again for the rest of the week. Now tomorrow, I think I'm actually going to take a rest day because I have a couple doctor's appointments, and we'll talk about that. And I haven't had a pedicure in a long time, and I'm like dying to have a pedicure. So I asked my daughter if she wanted to go get pedicures, and she wants to get gussied up for Valentine's Day. So she's like, yeah, I need to get my nails done anyway. And so we're going to go to the nail salon together tomorrow. But, she's going to get both done. So I figured I'll make tomorrow a rest day, and I'll just I have to go to a doctor's appointment. I have to get blood work done, and I'm going to go get my nails done. Or my toes done. So I think, from there, I'll just come home and, it'll be a rest day for me. That's my thoughts. But anyway, but that's what I've been up to today. And so then it's pretty early, and I feel like I'm going to be able to finish this because to me, this is color blocky. This was all color blocking. And this is like color blocky / line blocky. So these have been going by pretty quickly. So I feel like I'll be able to finish this. And then I can start on my Orloa. And on the Orloa, I plan on, I'm hoping to do it this week. I said I was going to do it this week. But we'll see. I'm hoping to record how I diamond paint squares. So I need to write down a list of the key points I want to share. And yeah, I think I'm going to try to get that video made and uploaded this week. But I have not talked in a while, so I wanted to just give you guys some updates. If you're new here, I'll just try to fill you in as I go. So I've been updating everyone on my husband, Bob. I talk about him a lot. And he was diagnosed with a neuroendocrine tumor of the pancreas. And it was cancerous, but he's currently cancer-free after 2 surgeries, 1 failed surgery, and then 1 miracle worker. They got the tumor out, and he had his 6-month post-op done, and it was great. Everything looked good. He has 1 more 6-month post-op, or 1 more 6 month. So 6 months from there, so it'll be his year post-op. And based on that, we might push it, the doctor might push it out for a year rather than come back in 6 months. Just do it in a year. But, so he's doing good. He still has some weird symptoms here and there. Yesterday, he had me check his blood sugar. I think there's a 20% chance or something along those lines of, so my husband had what was called a Whipple. And that is a very intense surgery where they basically reroute all of your GI system. Your stomach, your bile ducts, your intestines, your pancreas duct, and they remove your gallbladder, but his was already removed because of the first surgery that didn't work anyway. So like all that kind of stuff. And they reroute everything. They take it all apart and they reconnect it. And so, because part of the pancreas is removed and all the manipulation, there is like a high, not like a super high, but I feel like 20% is high chance of you developing diabetes. So he was saying he's been feeling like shaky or whatever. So we did check his sugar and it was normal. It was actually really good. So I did buy a glucometer just to keep an eye on that if he has any kind of symptoms. But yeah, otherwise he's been doing really, he's actually been putting on a lot of muscle. Bob can look at a weight and put on muscle. It's crazy. Because he lost so much weight and muscle mass going through all of this. He was on the TPN, the IV nutrition and all that stuff. And he lost a lot of weight and muscle. And so he's been working out. He got a heavy bag in the gym. He's been going out and punching that. He started martial arts again, going to kickboxing. And he has a weightlifting machine. So he's been doing that. And he actually sparred for the first time in years because he's going to go for his 6th degree black belt in Taekwondo, and he's going to have to spar. And so he's working hard. He's building up a lot of muscle. He's starting to look like Bob again. And he likes to keep moving because I keep telling him he works too much. And he says that he likes to work and he has to keep working Because I'm like, you don't have to work this much. And he's like, yeah, I do. My body likes it. Like, my body doesn't like working at all. And so, but as long as it's because he wants to, as long as he knows that he doesn't have to work as hard as he's working, but he does it because it makes him feel good, then hey, okay, I'm gonna order some more Amazon. No, I'm just kidding. So that's what's going on with Bob. Bob's doing really well. He's been drumming, and he's got all these hobbies that he's been enjoying. And then people have been asking me about my stepdad. And my stepdad is doing well. But I kind of left you guys in limbo because I wasn't ready to talk about it. But we did have, oh my gosh, my stomach's starting now. All the time. Every time I hit record, I get hungry. Yeah, I had to take some time to process it because I was, we got some upsetting news when we went to see the surgeon. So the surgeon, we saw the surgeon because we thought he was going to have surgery, and he told him to stop chemo. He needs 3 weeks off of chemo in order to have surgery. So he told the surgeon told the medical oncologist, it's time. His numbers look good. He's had enough rounds of chemo. And he brought him back in for a consult. And so we go, and it was a blessed thing. His daughter was in town, so she came. I drove all of them, my mom, his daughter, and him to this appointment. And we get there, and the first thing they say is, so what's, how have you been feeling? They want an update. They want to know, how's he been feeling? Has he been having any issues? And so, I'm like, well, he looks good, right? So my stepdad's sitting there. She's like, you look good. You've been on the chemo, and you look good. And, how are you feeling? And, he's like, I feel good, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, do you guys have, I was like, he was just in the hospital. I had called your office, and I called, the hospital to make sure that records were sent over for this visit. Did you guys get the records? And she's like, no. And she's like, well, what's been going on? And so, we start telling her, well, he was having a lot of pain in the abdomen. They're saying that the pancreas is acting up. I'm like, I don't know if he can have surgery if the pancreas is inflamed. And she's like, probably not. And she's like, okay. And so, we're telling her about that hospitalization. And then I was like, well, do you guys know about, how he was in the hospital for 2 months, and he had to have, a few surgeries on his foot, and he had a wound vac, and he was in rehab, and all these things, and they didn't know any of it. So she's like, no. So he starts telling her, well, I had X amount of chemos, and then I had, a foot wound. And so then he's telling her the whole story, and then he was in rehab for, I don't know how long. And she's like, okay. She's like, I'm going to guess that he's not going to feel comfortable doing the surgery right now. But let me just go relay all this information to him, and, he'll be in. So he comes in, and he basically tells my stepdad that, he's just not a good candidate for the surgery. it's that he, you know, he just has too many comorbidities, and, you know, he's got poor wound healing, and, you know, the and he starts throwing like all these numbers out. Like he said, if you were completely healthy and you had no comorbidities, you didn't have diabetes, you didn't have this, you didn't have that, if you were completely healthy and you have a Whipple, you still have a 5% chance of dying on the table. This, 5% chance of this, 20% chance of this, 40% chance of this. He's like, that's if you're completely healthy. He's like, but you're in a situation where you literally cannot have one complication, or you probably will not recover. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry. So ultimately, in the end, he told my stepdad that because he has been so responsive to the chemo, you know, and he was doing well on the chemo, living his life, and, you know, still doing all the things that he enjoys, that, you know, he should continue with the chemo, and the tumor's been responding well to it, and continue working with the medical oncologist. And, yeah, that ultimately the surgery would probably kill him before the cancer did, if that was the route that he decided. That, I mean, this surgeon wasn't going to do it, but if he wanted to, you know, seek a second opinion. So that's what he's doing. He's getting chemo. He's been doing well. He's gained a lot of weight. He's has a good appetite. He still goes to church and does his cards, and, you know, every 2 weeks he goes and gets his chemo, and so far it's been going well, and they're talking about introducing a little radiation, so it's going to be medically managed for as long as it can be, is the bottom line. And, you know, he has a good attitude. He, you know, he is very religious, and yeah, and so that's where we're at. And then I went over all my diamond painting updates, I think, in the Kitten chat. So for me, I've been actually I've been going to the doctors. So I told you guys that, like, my mom didn't really, I've been kind of taking over my mom's, like, helping my mom with her medical stuff. And my mom was diagnosed with this thing called mixed connective tissue disorder and lupus. And so I have, like, some of the symptoms. So I have Raynaud's on my toes. I don't know if you guys know what Raynaud's is, but it's when, like, you lose circulation to, like, your fingers or your toes and they turn pale. It can get as bad as they're turning purple or blue. So I have that on my toes. And not all the time, but I have that on my toes. And I've been having this, like, red rash on my cheeks. Almost looks like a butterfly rash. I started telling, you know, my family, I'm like, I think I think my hair is falling out. Like, oh, my hair was shedding so bad in November and December, like ridiculous. And there's definitely like a patch kind of on the above my temple on the left side that is thinned out quite a bit. And so I went and saw my mom. I switched doctors, and I'm going to my mom's primary doctor because she's pretty thorough. And I was like, yeah, my mom's one of your patients. And I told her name, and she's like, oh yeah. And so I told her what was going on. And so she referred me to a rheumatologist to get worked up for, you know, possibly mixed connective tissue disorder and or other things, and a dermatologist for my hair. So I went to him, and, you know, I told him my symptoms, and he thinks that, you know, if I have anything, it might be a very mild case of lupus. So he gave me all these labs I have to do. I'm going tomorrow. His labs are not needed fasted, but my primary also ordered labs, just like all the basics, my, you know, cholesterol panel, yada yada yada, and that needs to be fasted. So I'm going tomorrow to have all this blood work done. And he also referred me to a dermatologist. And he told me to go to this, he recommended I go to this one dermatologist. So I call that office. This is crazy, guys. I call that office, and they say they have a recording message that says, you know, you can make appointments online. So I'm like, let me see. Usually you're not able to make like a new patient appointment online because they need more time, yada, yada, yada. So I was like, let me just check it out. And they did. They had the availability, you know, new patient, this, that. So I went ahead and I made that appointment. And then they sent me all these messages saying they need this filled out and this filled out, and they need a picture of this and a picture of that. And so I go and I do all the things before your appointment's approved and yada, yada, yada. So I do all the things. And so then my appointment was supposed to be for today. So then they call me yesterday and they're like, you know, we need you to fill this out we need you to fill out another form to release your notes from the rheumatologist. And I was like, oh, okay. So they're like, we're going to send you another paper if you could fill that out. And I'm like, okay. So they send that to me. I fill that out. Then they call me back 20 minutes later and they're like, so we got all the paperwork from your doctor's offices and we're going to have to cancel your appointment tomorrow because the doctor needs to review them. I was like, huh? I mean, literally, I saw both doctors one time. I can't imagine. It's a lot of paperwork, right? I'm just like, and they're like, so we're going to cancel your appointment for tomorrow and we'll call you back after the doctor reviews the paperwork. And I was just very confused because I'm just like, okay, they don't give me any kind of time reference, like we'll call you back tomorrow, or I am just like, okay, so I just have to hope that she gets to my, like, I was just like, what is going on? So I was kind of annoyed, and I told Bob. So after I hang up with her, I actually called another dermatology office and I made an appointment for tomorrow. So this was yesterday. So I made an appointment for, you know, 2 days from that date. And I was like, I'm not going to go to that office. Like, that just left a bad taste in my mouth. So that office calls me today and they're like, they left a message. I didn't pick up. I recognized the number, but I was like, I'm not going to them. And they pick up the phone and they left a message and it says, you know, the doctor reviewed your office notes and, you know, we'd like to schedule you for an appointment. So I'm at the gym and I'm thinking, I'm like, you know, maybe I should just go see them, because the appointment that I made was, sorry, my phone rang. The appointment that I made was with a PA, not a doctor, not a doctor of dermatology. So I was like, and he said she specializes in, you know, the issues that I'm having and yada, yada, yada. I was like, so maybe I should just go and see her. Let me see if I can get an appointment. If they can give me an appointment tomorrow, I'll go see her and I'll cancel my other appointment. So I called the office back and I was like, you know, I'm calling to make an appointment. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. So I was like, do you have anything for tomorrow? And they said, actually, we do. We have, they had morning appointments. So I was like, okay, I'll take the 9:20 appointment. And I hate getting up that early, but I was like, you know, I'll do it because this is important. Like, I need to take care of myself, blah, blah, blah. So I make the appointment and they're like, okay, you need to call your insurance company to make sure that this is covered, because hair loss is considered cosmetic for some insurance companies and they don't cover the office visits. So I'm going to give you a couple codes so you can call them and see if these codes are covered. And I was like, what? And she repeats it again to me. I feel like, isn't this their job? Like, I provided the insurance information. They don't call the insurance company to see if my visit's going to be... I was just like, okay. So she gives me some ICD-10 codes. And then, so I'm thinking, okay, I will actually jump through this hoop too. So then she says to me, also, your copay is $40, but if you haven't made your yearly deductible yet, we're going to charge you $75. And I was like, what? I was like, and she's like, okay. And I was like, no, not okay. In fact, cancel my appointment. I'm seeing another dermatologist tomorrow anyway, so I said, never mind. I'm not coming to your office. And I hung up on her. Like, what in the... has anybody ever heard of that before? Like, we're going to collect more from you just in case you didn't meet your deductible yet this year. What? Like, is that your job? Is your job to make sure I make... Like, I'm just so confused. Like, you're a doctor's office. You're allowed to just charge me more because I didn't meet... Like, I'm... What? I was so... This office, like, everything about them just put me off. I've never heard of that before. I don't know if this is something new. I mean, I don't go to the doctors a lot. This is the most I've ever gone to the doctors, so maybe it's just something I'm not familiar with. I don't know, but I didn't like it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not giving you any of my money. I'm not giving you the $40. I'm certainly not giving you the $75. So goodbye. Let me know, guys. Have you ever gone to a doctor's office that had this practice? I've just really turned off. So turned off. Anyway, so I still have, you know, I'm still going to the other doctor's appointment, and then I'm going to get my blood work done, and then tomorrow, and then my daughter and I are going to go get our nails done, and then I'm going to come home and I'm going to diamond paint. But yeah, I'm really, so he's working me up for a ton of different things. We'll see what happens. Because I actually said to him, I was like, listen, Doc, I almost canceled this appointment because part of me feels like, do I really need to know if it's not affecting me? Like, it's not changing my daily, active, you know, my daily activities. It doesn't, you know, whatever. And like, if you're going to try to put me on steroids, I'm not taking steroids. I don't know if that's I don't remember where I read steroids, but I read steroids somewhere, and I was like, well, that's not happening. So he was like, no, it wouldn't be steroids. It might be like hydroxychloroquine. You guys might be familiar with that word from the pandemic times. It was the treatment at one point, no longer considered the treatment. And then he said that the benefit would be that, you know, like maybe I'm having this redness in my face, which is, I feel like, very prominent right now, because I'm having a flare-up, and it would prevent flare-ups, and it would prevent what's it called? It would prevent flare-ups, and it would prevent advancement. So like, because, you know, lupus can affect all the organs, and, you know, he said it could possibly protect. So we'll see what ends up, you know. He said, but we're kind of talking ahead of ourselves here. Let's get your blood work done and see if we're even dealing with anything. So I don't know. It could just all be, you know, weirdness happening. I was saying to him, like, I don't know about the redness in my face. Like, also, what I noticed was that I literally cannot go out in the sun. Like, it's almost like I'm allergic to the sun all of a sudden. The year that I went down to the shore with my friend and my daughter for her birthday, and we went to the beach. We went onto the beach. My friend lent me a hat, a big sun hat. I wore this big sun hat, and I wore this like 90 SPF on my face. Never took the hat off, right? We go back to the house. We all take showers, whatever. I get out of the shower. I go to do my makeup, and I have this like brown triangle underneath my eye. And I'm just like, what in the world? Like, it looks like 10 years worth of sun damage, this brown triangle. And I'm just like, so I say to my daughter, I'm like, look at this. You see that triangle? And she's like, it's not bad. And I'm like, what the heck is it? Like, why is it there? I like literally had a hat on and sunblock. I don't understand what's happening. So that discoloration of the face, like on my cheeks and stuff, could be related if I do have it. So he said it could prevent stuff like that, you know, the rashes on the face, if that's the case. So I was like, oh, you mean I'd be able to go out in the sun again? Not that I want to sit there and sunbathe, but I don't want to like be so terrified that I'm gonna like be completely marked up if like I forget to like put tons of sunblock on. I actually have sunblock in my car because of it. So he said, yeah, it should help. So we'll see what happens. Could be nothing, could be something. And that's where I am at. I told you my dog is good. My son is doing really well. He has his, what's it called? His 6-month six-month eval at his job. So he's been working with them for a little longer than 6 months, but part of it was his internship, even though he got paid. But as a full-time employee, hired employee, his 6th month is in March. And so he will be getting his eval, and he said he definitely should be getting a raise because he's already been told that he's working way above his title. Like, he does a lot more than what his title is supposed to do because he's been competent and he catches on quickly. And so he said, the owner said that he's, you know, you've been able to handle the information. And so he just keeps teaching them. And so, you know, he should be getting a decent raise. So I'm really excited and happy for him. My daughter is awesome. You heard her in this. She's doing really well. She's still trying to figure out what she wants to do, you know, with her life, but I didn't have it figured out until my 30s. So she's what do you call it? She works 2 jobs, makes a lot of money, spends a lot of money, goes away a lot, has a lot of fun. So I'm just like, live it up, girl. Live it up while you can, because one day you're going to have a mortgage and they are no fun. Yep. None of it is fun. So have the fun while you can. And you're still trying to figure it out. But yeah. And I'm still debating on whether or not I want to kit up that Dreamers Designs. Whoops. I don't know. I think I'm going to. Because I feel like I'm making decent progress and I could afford to, like, even if it's just once a week, but I would not finish that canvas. Because that would be 52 sessions. Not even at this point. It would be 48 sessions. No, maybe 46 sessions on that canvas. I think I would need more than that even. Okay, so I just did all of the non-sparkly things. And so now I left everything that needs to be sparkly. The first one I'm going to do is actually charted. So this was actually charted by DAC. So I'll put these down. And yes, this Gorilla Glue or Gorilla Putty is pretty old. So I've been getting away with diamond painting the sparklers with it without any issue. Although no, that's okay. So we'll see if that's okay. All right, so here's a crazy thing. I wrote that I talked about A Court of Thorn and Roses. I finished that book. I listened to it. And I'm re-listening to it. I'm listening to it for a second time right after. Because now that all's been revealed, I'm going back and I'm listening to how it sounds now that I know what happens. And it's very interesting. Plus, I feel like I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I don't have access to book 2 yet. And so I'm like, let me just listen to this one more time and see if I missed anything. So I'm re-listening to it. And it's actually, I feel like it's almost like listening to it for the first time. I think it's because the story is that good. I just really enjoy the story. So I'm going to listen to that one again before I return it. And just make sure that I didn't miss anything. I want to hear, now that I know how it all plays out, and again, I don't want to do spoilers, but now that I know how it all plays out, I want to hear certain conversations again. And I just want to say that, I guess I can't say this. Can I say this? I just want to say that I did guess. I did guess the riddle, like right away. I don't think that gives anything away. I mean, if you've read and you know, then I'm going to tell you guys that I did guess the riddle immediately. So yeah, I patted myself on the back for that. And I wanted to tell you guys this story. Okay, so my mom, she gives me these peppers. She gives me these peppers, this little Tupperware of peppers. She's like, here, take these home. You'll like these. And I was like, I will? And she's like, yeah, you'll like them. They're Korean peppers, right? And I was like, okay. So I take them home. Well, I actually didn't eat them right away. They were sitting in my fridge for a couple days. And then one day I was like, all right. Oh, no, my daughter pulled them out. My daughter pulled them out. And she had made some meat. And I asked her if I could have some of the meat. Sometimes she feeds me more than I feed her now. Because now I'm cooking again. But before I was like, I don't know, so opposed to cooking. And so she would come home from work and she would cook this elaborate meal. And I'd be like, I'm hungry, like a kid. And she would be like, oh yeah, you can have some. And she'd make me a plate and stuff. I'm like, isn't it funny how the worlds turn around, the roles are reversed. So anyway, so she makes some Korean meat and she makes rice and all, and she pulls these peppers out and she puts them on the table. And I was like, oh, my mom's peppers. And she's like, yeah, they're really good. She's like, they're a little spicy. So I sit down and I grab one and I eat it, and oh my God, I was like, oh my God, these are so good. Well, I ended up eating like 4 of them. They look like long hots, but they're not long hots. The pepper itself is not spicy at all. The pepper, I think it's like serrano peppers, because I tried to look it up to see what kind of pepper. It's a mild, long pepper. They're not as long and big as a long hot, but they're shaped. They're like shaped like long hots, and they're bigger than jalapenos. I don't know how else to describe them. So I was like, it's the spices that they put. They put all the spices. It's like you can tell they're marinated. I don't know, but I ate a lot of them, right? I was like, oh my, I couldn't stop eating them. So I ate the whole Tupperware thing my mom gave me, like in 2 days. The next day I ate it, and then the next day I ate them all. And so I called my mom up and I'm like, Mom, you have any more of those peppers? I ate them all. And they're so good. And she's like, they're good, huh? And I was like, yeah, do you have any more? She's like, yeah, I have some. She's like, I'll bring them over on, I think she said, like, I'll bring them over on Sunday. And I was like, okay. So my mom comes over and she brings me, the first Tupperware was like real thin and like this big. So this one she brings me, it's like this big and like this high and filled with peppers, tons of peppers. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much, you know. Guys, she gave it to me like on Sunday. I think it was like Friday I call her. And I was like, Mom, can you make more of those peppers? She's like, what? I was like, the peppers, can you make more of them? I'll pay you. And she's like, what happened to the ones I gave you? And I was like, I ate them all. And she's like, all of them? She could not believe it, dude. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, that was supposed to last you for like a month. I'm like, a month? I'm like, no, Mom, they're gone. And she's like, oh my God. So it turns out she doesn't make these peppers. My mom didn't make these peppers. her friend from church makes them. So her friend from church, she's also Korean. She's married to an American guy. And he loves to garden. And he has all these pepper plants. So every year he like grows like tons of these peppers. And his wife didn't know what to do with them. So she just makes this certain pepper. And yeah, she marinates them. And after you marinate them, then you got to take it out of the marinade, and then you rinse them off, and then you toss them in a bunch of Korean spices and stuff. And so my mom says, you know, she makes tubs and tubs of them, and she just gives them away because she doesn't eat them. And I was like, are you serious? I was like, do you think I could buy some off of her? So my mom had, you know, went away to the Dominica. She's like, when I come back, I'll ask her. So she didn't forget, because then she calls me up and she's like, hey, Kimberly, I have your peppers. I was like, oh, you got my peppers? She said, yeah. I was like, okay. So she came over and she brought the peppers. Guys, my mom is no joke. She comes in with, you know, like the 5-gallon painter tubs that if you get like a professional painter, and I think they're 5 gallons, they're like huge tubs. They might even be 10 gallons. I don't know. This huge tub she brings. I was like, I come out and I see this big, huge bucket on my counter. And she's like, you got to open this though. And it was like sealed tight. And I was like, what's in there? And she's like, the peppers. I was like, are you serious? This lady, she makes the peppers in these tubs, and she just gave my mom a whole tub of them. Oh my God. I was like, yes. I was like, and Bob's like, I was like, yo, Bob, did you see my peppers? And he's like, I like to look at them as our peppers. And he's been eating them on everything. He cut it up and put it in spaghetti. They have, I mean, it's so funny because, like, even if you think you don't want to eat them, as soon as you smell them, you got to eat them. It's crazy. Like, everyone, I bring them to work and people are like, what's that smell? It smells spicy, but it smells good. Like, they just have, and it's just it's the marinade. I don't know what the marinade is, but oh my gosh, it's like crack. So Bob put it in a spaghetti. He cut it up and put it in an omelet. He actually took 2 pieces of the lunch meat and he rolled it up with them. I mean, honestly, I can't do all that. Like, I just need chicken and rice. So it's so healthy though, because it's like chicken, rice, and then a vegetable, peppers. And I've been eating so much of that. Like, I just put a pot of rice on it. That's why I put you guys on pause, because my stomach kept growling. And I was like, all right, I need to eat something. So I'm going to eat chicken and rice and peppers for the rest of my life. Oh my God, my mom is so funny. She came over with this painter's bucket. I don't even know how she carried it in. That thing looked like that. So I have a fridge in my garage. She's like, put this in your fridge. And she showed me how to like spice them up. I actually had all the things at my house. And yeah. So now when I run out of the ones that she spiced up, I just have to go get the bucket and take them out and rinse them off and then spice them up. And yeah, it's so funny. But I'm going to tell you guys one more story, and then I'm going to shut it down. But it's not really a story. It's not a long story. It's funny. Something happened today. So I was going over our bank statement honestly, guys, I went on there to see how much money was in the account because I want to order some stuff from Amazon. Not like diamond painting stuff, but stuff for the house. Like, because I don't actually go shopping very often. But I might just go shopping tomorrow though, because I'm going to be out and about and I don't have to go to the gym. So I went on the account and I start looking, and I see this like $240 payment to Etsy, and I was like, what? $200 to Etsy? Like, I was like, did I accidentally, because I just bought a pen. Not just, I bought a pen. It's like on its way because I bought a pen a while ago. And I'm just like, did I overpay? Like, what the heck? So I go on my Etsy account and I see, you know, my last purchase was this pen. And I'm like, okay, no, it's not that. Then what the heck? So then I was like, I actually started calling the bank, right? I was going to tell them, like, listen, I don't know. Like, someone got our information and made this purchase to Etsy. Like, you know, you guys have to stop the payment or something, like give me the money back. I don't know. I have to file a claim, something, right? So like, I'm on hold and I'm sitting there and I'm like, would Bob order? Like, I'm thinking, would Bob order something from Etsy? I'm like, no, he wouldn't order something from Etsy. Does he even know what Etsy is? And so I'm like, maybe I should make sure he didn't, because he's ordered a couple like things for the garage for his little home gym, like a heavy bag, a speed bag. So I'm like, maybe he ordered something. Sorry. Maybe he ordered something for the gym, for his little gym. So, or maybe he ordered something for his drum set. I don't know. So I'm like, I was like, maybe I should ask him before I tell them to stop. Like, I want my money back. So I go over and I knock on the garage door because he's actually working out. He opens it and I'm like, before I call the bank and dispute this, did you buy something from Etsy for $240? And he was like, oh, I did. I was like, what'd you get? And he's like, nothing. And I'm like, what do you mean nothing? Like, what did you buy? And he's like, it's my Valentine's gift. I was like, what? He's like, Valentine's is coming up. So I'm like, what is it? And he's like, I'm not telling you. And I'm standing there staring at him. I'm like, well, and he's like, listen, you're never going to guess what it is. So don't even try. And I'm just like, but what is it though? So I'm like, I go back and I sit down and I'm like, oh geez, I hope he didn't get me like a non-licensed, because he wouldn't know, like a non-licensed diamond painting. But for $240, I hope he didn't get me a diamond painting for $240. I smack him. But yeah, I have a Valentine's gift coming. I'm so excited. I don't know what it is though. So I don't know. That's a lot of money on Etsy. Like, what could it be? I'm thinking of all this stuff. I don't know. Like, what is Etsy? It's like, I'm thinking, like, I know they sell like artist things, like paintings. Would he have bought me a painting when I do all these paintings? I don't know. Our walls are pretty bare because I don't hang up enough of them. So I was thinking maybe he got me like an artist thing, or what else could it be? I don't know. Maybe he got me a credenza. Isn't that how much they are? I don't know, enough speculating. I'll definitely let you guys know when I get it. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this whip and chat. If you did, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up on the way out. And if you want to hear more from me, see more from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the family and friends here at Kimbaskrafts. And if you want to, go ahead and try to guess what Bob bought me on Etsy, because I'm dying to know. Maybe you can give me some ideas. All right, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Take care. Keep diamond painting.